Okay. Wow, this is very hard to do. Like, my heart is beating. Hello, welcome back. Today is another one of the art of something, and this week is suicide prevention week, and I decided why not do the art of suicide prevention. So I have my art journal and I have my pens, and we're just gonna get into it. And I'm sorry about the background, but I'm filming at home, and so ever since I was about the age of 12, I started self-harming. This is very hard to form like coherent. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out. I'm gonna start off saying that this is my experience with suicide. Ever since the age of 12 was my first time ever dealing with self-harm and also suicide all at the same time. I'm sorry if I'm laughing and I make little jokes about it, but it's a coping thing. I always laugh at stuff that is awkward to talk about. Ever since the 6th grade, I was always bullied by my peers and by sometimes my friends, or who I thought were friends. At the same time, I was having personal problems at home, and the two were just not mixing in, and it was just very overwhelming. I went to the bathroom and I saw that there was a razor, and I remembered that one of my friends was self-harming as well. So I thought that this was the solution. So what I did was I basically slashed my arm, but not in the area that I thought was the place where you slash or you cut yourself. I remember going to school and I had worn like a long sleeve, and this girl, Jasmine, had heard about me cutting, and she picked up my arm and she slapped it and said that if I was to do it again, that she would literally do worse. With the bullying and with the family problems, I just wanted somebody to help me, and I just wanted my voice to be heard. Okay, go away. Thank you, Mr. Train, for making your appearance in my video. It's very much not appreciated. I went through middle school, and it's kind of hard being the center of everybody's jokes in school. When I was in the 7th grade, a lot of jokes had gone around with like people saying that, you know, hey Rosa, this guy likes you, or hey Rosa, this guy likes you, and you know, I would be like, I don't really like them. But that wasn't how the joke went, basically, because I was big and basically ugly. Everybody had developed this joke as, oh my god, let's see if she'll, like, you know, react to somebody saying that she liked her. I didn't really care, but at the same time, it really did impact me in a way where I just felt so incredibly terrible about myself. The only way that I could think about it was self-harm. And the reason I say that is because I told teachers and they didn't do anything, and it only made the bullying worse. And I had, you know, I tried to make like snarky comebacks, and that didn't really work. So, you know, well, what am I supposed to do? And it was just very infuriating because nobody would listen. And at the same time, my mental, don't cry, Rosa. My mental health was very, oh my god, don't cry. My mental health was very at the brink of being destroyed. And so I harmed myself. I slit my wrists, and you know, I dealt with it in that way, silently and in pain. I went on into high school, and 9th grade is actually when it got worse. And usually when people tell you their stories, they're like, it gets better, and it does, but at the same time it doesn't. The reason I'm not telling you anything about the personal problems is because it's something that's a little bit more for another video and another day when I'm not already overwhelmed with this basic video. And some people can know that it's very overwhelming to talk about suicide and how they dealt with it and how they got through it. So I'm not gonna get into that video, well, my personal problems. So I went into the 9th grade and I was very unprepared for the way that things were gonna go. I was still self-harming, and I was cutting my wrist, and I had cut and slashed my thighs, and I think I can show you those actually. So this is my wrist, which has kind of healed since I did self-harm, which is pretty good because I don't want the scars. And at the same time I kind of do, and I plan to get a tattoo on my arm to cover it up because I'm just over that stage of my life, I guess. And I have some scars on my chest from where I just did not like my chest because it had gotten me into some problems, which I'll explain. And I had cut my stomach because I hated the word fat, and I also carved fat into my skin, and I think it's still there, but at the same time I think it healed already. So this is the part of the video where I tell you that there might be some triggers or warnings or gruesome stuff that you don't want to hear. So if you are very to that, you can go ahead and click off, and if you want to keep hearing, then you can. Before my 9th grade year, during the summer, was my first attempt at suicide. I wanted to end my life. The whole thing that somebody says is for you to talk to somebody if you feel like your life might be endangered or if anything's gonna happen. And so I called Roberts, and I was basically like, I want to end my life and I need help. And basically he talked me through it. I went on into the 9th grade, and 9th grade was even worse with bullying. This is another trigger because half of the stuff you don't expect to happen in high school and half of the stuff you do expect to happen in high school. My first period class, I was in a co-ed gym, and I had experienced my fair share of bullies, and I had experienced my fair share of, guys, I guess, in a sense. Don't know. So basically I was in a co-ed gym class, and guys and girls could intermingle and be, be playing together, I guess. And it just didn't make sense to me because, you're in a girls' gym class. Why would you be with a boys' gym class at the same time? And that just proves out how lazy my coaches were at the same time as how lazy I was just to not even. There's this guy, and we're going to call him James. So me and James, I felt he was kind of cute on the outside, and I was like, you know what, I'll just go talk to him. Maybe he won't see me as this disgusting piece of... We'd met at the bleachers every once in a while, and that was just a place that we kind of met and talked, because, I didn't want to be out in the open and people see us talking, but at the same time I didn't think that there was anywhere else we could just talk, because A, the coaches wanted you to be busy, and B, I was too lazy and I didn't want to be busy, so I just wanted to talk to people. So this one day I went under the bleachers and talked to him, and he was getting very close, and I had noticed it and I backed away a little bit. So he started flirting and had touched me on my chest, and then I was like, okay, so I left. And ever since that time he touched me on the chest, I went ahead and, backed it up and went back to sit with some friends. And for a few days, that's what I did. I avoided him at all cost, and I just did not want that to be something that I was known for. A few days later, he approached me at this desk that the coaches sit at to do paperwork, I guess, and the coach tells me to hop up and go do something. So I hop up. Well, I don't hop up. I get up and I walk off the thing, and so I get up and he walks in front of me and reaches down and touches me in a no-no space. And my no-no space was a no-no space, and it was just the line that actually pushed me. And I went to one of our council people and told her what would happen if one of the students is touched by a male student in gym class. What do we do? And she was like, I don't deal with that, but I can take you to somebody who does. The school implemented a rule where co-ed gym classes were no longer to be together for the rest of the year, I guess. And he was on a restraining order, and basically all this was just piling up on me, and I was just like, okay. Like, it was just a lot. And everybody thought that the co-ed separation was stupid, and at the same time I knew that the school did it for my protection and just so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. After that whole situation came a new situation, and I was dealing with bullies, and those friends that I had told you about turned into the bullies. They were belittling me as a person and making me feel like I was worthless and that nobody would want such a fat piece of. And at the same time, there was just name calling, and I just could not handle it. So at the end of the day, after a very long school day, I went home and slit my wrist and almost ended my life. And then I thought about stuff, and I wasn't gonna let this get the best of me. People let drama get the best of them, and bullies get the best of them, because people that are bullying other people are basically people who are jealous of some quality that you possess. Senior year was the year that I actually told somebody about the personal problems at home, and also the personal problems I had in my head. And that person was Joanne, so thank you. So Joanne helped me through a lot of things with the personal problems, and at the same time I had just told my parents about it. At the same time I had my family had acknowledged it, and that summer I self-harmed, and I slit up my thigh, and it wasn't gonna cut it. And at this time I was talking to Joanne about everything, because though Ritz was my friend, I hated how much I depended on her. So I wanted to relieve some of that stress that she was getting because of me, and just talk to Joanne. No one knew what really was going on in my head, and I never knew what was going on in my head. So I talked to Joanne, and I had told Joanne that I really wanted to end my life, and that if I ended up killing myself, that it was not his fault. It was not anybody else's fault. It was truly my fault, and that was me. So I took in a shower, and I got dressed, and I just sat in the bathroom for what seemed like forever, and I had a few razors with me, and it was just one night where I just wanted to end everything. I sat there for a few minutes, and I was like, what are you living for, Rosa? If you keep doing this, you've attempted this so many times where you just want to end your life. You want to end your life. Is there really anything you're living for? Why don't you just end it? Because if you end it, you'd be making this place a lot more better than if you were just here. Why the heck are you waiting for somebody to swoop in and save you? Because that's not how it is in reality, and you know that. So just end it and be done. That was my thought process. I don't know where I left off. My dad came in for lunch, and I didn't want to film with him eating in the back. I just wanted to make this video to kind of bring awareness to the situation today. This month, September, is Suicide Awareness Month. I feel like for my mental health and my physical being, I'm okay. I'm going to admit that there are some times where I felt very alone and very depressed and sad and just did not see that there was anything to live for. And all I gotta tell you is that there is hope. And I believe in you, and I believe that everything that you have done and are going to do is going to be so great, and you just never know. You are worth saving, and you are worth everything in the world. This is what I drew so far. I can't talk and draw at the same time, but I'm gonna have to learn how to do it sooner or later. So I do this, and then at the top it says there is hope with a little heart. I'm here for you guys, and I love you so much, and I wish you the best. Here's what to do if somebody is suicidal and you don't know what to do, or you know, if you think that they're gonna do something, please do any of these steps. If you or someone that you know is in an emergency and needs help, please call 911. If you're in a crisis or in thoughts, please call the National Suicide Hotline, and the number is 1-800-273-TALK, which is 8255. I'm sorry this video was long. It's a very long and touchy subject, but I feel like it shouldn't be reduced to like 5 minutes. You know, hey, you know, I almost committed suicide, you know, this is how I did it, and you know, end credits. And I will see y'all next week with a much lesser intense video, because this one is very intense. And as much as I want to say that this isn't, my next few videos aren't going to be intense, is to lie. Please do not end your life for something that is so temporary that in a few weeks or a few days it won't matter. Please do seek help. Talk to people. Talk to a friend. Talk to your mom. Talk to your dad. Talk to whoever you have to talk to that you feel like you can trust with that information. And if they do not listen, do not be discouraged. I tried to talk to 10 people before I actually got help. And you know, you gotta keep fighting, and that is something that I believe in. So thank you so much for watching. I love you, and goodbye. This is so hard to end because I don't want to leave you. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.